My name is Moon Petrie and I failed to vlog, so this is a Nano wrap up. I had a bit of a rough time with this Camp Nano and I was really not sure that I was going to be able to finish that book or hit my goal, and something had to give, and so I stopped vlogging. I definitely had to take a few days completely off here and there, and I had to change my approach. I also took up painting my nails again. So I had last painted my nails April of 2019, my first Camp Nano, the first time I wrote 50K in a month. And I have the vlogs from that, and I haven't done it since. It was a thing I used to love to do as a teenager when you could only find red and pink and clear in the drugstore, and I had to special order Manic Panic from a paper catalog. I'm making it very clear exactly how old I am. Anyway, I got into punk colors long ago, and I felt like I needed to do something for myself lately, so that is my new thing that I can do that's clearly not for anybody else, although my kids do want their nails painted, so I have been doing that a little bit. I also had to change how I was working on the book. I made it past the halfway point, probably. I felt like I was overwriting. I felt like I was dragging things out. So I was somewhere between halfway and 2/3 of the way through. And I was just feeling really bogged down with that idea, with that book. And I was also feeling really excited about some other ideas. And I did not want to give up on the book I was writing. I don't like to stop partway through. I'm a very linear thinker. So I worked on it a little bit differently. I started including some, in brackets, some scene summaries here and there, just to move me past a thing so that I could get started writing actual prose again. And so I did that a few times, and then I ended up basically just writing the rest of the book in these scene summary brackets. So this is a lot like what some outliners would call an outline, or what some people would call a draft zero. So it wasn't my plan. It was not how I've ever approached anything. It's not really what I had intended. I'm not thrilled with it, but I kept writing. I got a bunch of words with that, and then, you know, I got the idea down. So I think it would be a fairly small job to bring that portion of it up to the standard of the first half or 2/3 or whatever it is. So yeah, I did what I had to do to keep moving forward. And then, to reward myself, I just used the rest of camp and the rest of my word count goal to work on brainstorming for these, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 YA thriller ideas. So they're not a series, they're not companion books all in the same whatever. Having so many big loud trucks go by right now, but they do all sort of fit the same theme. I'm calling them guilty pleasures. The idea has been the group of characters for each one, sort of a type of person, and so they are each one focused on a group of characters who are maybe the kind of people you know, whose lives end up on TMZ, or who you would watch some like YouTube documentary about, and you know, the kind of thing that feels like you know, how lucky we are to not be them, or how easy it is to look down on or criticize the lives of others, right? But my goal is definitely to think of what the stereotypes would be, what the expectations would be, and to upend that and treat these characters as, you know, fully human. So just as an example, one of them is like aging child stars, some of whom have crashed and burned in the way that we have seen child stars crash and burn, where like there's a whole group who were in a movie together when they were kids, and then as they got older, like one of them went on to have a successful career. Some of them maybe went on to be ordinary people living out of the limelight kind of lives, but some of them ended up, you know, with the kind of drama and, you know, heavy amounts of like social criticism in the media and stuff, despite the fact that they were, you know, kids. So that's one of the groups of characters. Anyway, stuff like that. So I had these 5, and I kept working on brainstorming for them. And that was going to be how I filled out the month. And I rewatched all of Alexa Dunn's thriller brainstorming videos. And so I had a little bit of a framework of the things I was going to try and look at first and then fill in and stuff, which was super, super helpful. Phoebe Wood has also been brainstorming a thriller and rewatching Alexa Dunn's videos and reading a bunch of YA thrillers and all of this stuff. And so I will link her channel below, Phoebe Wood Writes, because yeah, similar, on a similar path at this moment. So I did that. I did a bunch of that. But then it came to the 30th, and I had 4,002 words left to write, and that's just too much, and I didn't think there was any way I'd be able to do it. But Matilda, the nerdy book nerd, also channel linked below, gave me a challenge, a way to gamify my goal to get through those 4,002 words in one day. Matilda does a lot of high word count days, and so I didn't know that even with her recommended method I would get anywhere near it. But this is the method. So the first sprint goal is whatever number over around 1,000 you have left in your goal. So my goal, the entire thing, was 4,002 words, and so my first sprint goal is 2 words. I just did a sprint and I got 248 words. So the next sprint goal is you take the total from the first and double it. So my second goal was 496. I ended up writing 499 in my next sprint. And I use the term sprint loosely because I was just cramming in when I could between kid interruptions mostly. So it wasn't necessarily all like timed sprints, but life limited sprints. So after that, the second sprint, which is double, your goal is double the first sprint total, then you see how much of your total goal is left, which for me was 3,255 words. So then that 255 over the 1,000 is the next goal. I wrote 459, which I a little bit regretted because that meant that my next sprint goal was twice that, or 918 words. But I did it. I got 1021, which left me with only 1775 left, or a 775 word goal for the next sprint. I got 837. That left me with only 938 words to go, and by then I knew I could do it, which was so exciting. I wrote 1,009 more words. So my camp goal was 30K. I got 30,071. So I hope I've explained that method clearly enough, because it worked really well for me. I also enjoyed shooting B-roll with painted fingernails, so that is definitely a thing I'm gonna continue, at least occasionally, she said, remembering the thing with the novelty earrings that I was doing for a while there. So here I am with a bunch of brainstorming done for these 5 books, And this partly first drafted, partly zero drafted or very expanded outlined middle grade contemporary, and you know, everything else I'm doing, still querying and all of this. So what's next is the question. Well, here it is, the 5th of May. So what was next was clearly a little bit of a break. But I have 5 main goals, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do first. To read more YA thrillers. Now, I've been reading a lot of YA thrillers. I read 15 last year, and so far this year I've read 12. I love them. I can't put them down. I stay up way too late reading. It's like popcorn candy. I just can't stop. So I have exhausted a lot of the ones I can get online from my library through the Libby app, and have actually started buying some. So yeah, read more YA thrillers, and you know, read closely. Read as a writer. Choose which one of those 5 ideas to work on first. Finish that draft, get it all to the same first drafty level, my middle grade contemporary. I got feedback from Eva. Her handle is just Eva. I think she has a merch store called Bookend Lane. Anyway, she was so kind to read one of my YA fantasies that I wrote a few years ago and I've been in revisions on for ages. And I have some good actionable feedback from her. She was super encouraging, and also very, you know, helpfully critical, and everything was really well laid out in her feedback. And so I feel like that's something I can really just like jump right into and get on. And the 5th thing is what I call my problem child. It was titled Small Town back when it was a NaNo project. The first line is nothing bad ever happens to anyone here. And I think that should be the title, or nothing bad ever happens here. Something along those lines. Anyway, it's a monstrosity. It's a 92K YA portal fantasy, and the 3rd act is a big mess. So when I've reread it and started to do a little revision, a little trimming down, it was 97K. I've been like, oh, this isn't so bad. I can work with this. This is revisable. And then I get to Act 3 and I'm like, ugh. So I have some major thought process to dive into with that one, figure out how to save it. So those are my 5 top priorities at this point, in addition to querying. What I will do next, I do not know. I'm trying to just chill. I feel like I always like to have a goal and know clearly what my top priority is, but I also have been feeling a little like I needed to take a little space. I needed a little time for myself. I wanted to enjoy this beautiful springtime weather after all that April snow, and so you're gonna have to wait until my next video to see what my next priority is and what I'm gonna be working on. So until then, I am Moon Petrie. I hope that however camp went for you, you are being kind to yourself and enjoying the springtime.